Hello, welcome back to the Impact Lounge with another special interview. This time tonight, I'm going to be joined by Rich Swann in a moment. But if you haven't stopped by the channel before, make sure you do hit the subscribe button and check out all the great stuff that is going on, including Carl and Trent doing the weekly reviews and hopefully a return soon of the Adam and Rose show. It's been on a bit of a hiatus. My fault. Really sorry about that. But these things happen, and hopefully we're going to get the game back on the road soon. So if you haven't stopped by, hit the subscribe button, leave your comments below. We love to hear the comments, and I hope you really enjoyed this interview that we got coming up with Rich Swann in a moment. I'm your host tonight, Adam, and enjoy. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, and welcome back to the show. I'm now delighted to say I've got Rich on the line. How are you tonight, Rich?
I'm very well. How are you doing, baby?
Fantastic. And I always ask this of my guests, because obviously I'm up here in Scotland at the moment looking at the pissing rain. Where are you today?
I am out here in the sunshine of Orlando, Florida. I don't mean to rub it in, but god dang it, it's so good right now and it's feeling great. I'm getting a nice tan. Wink, wink.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're in Florida, I'm going to be there in 2-3 weeks' time. So make sure you tip the barman and tell him to buy me a drink when I get over there.
Yeah, I got you.
So you're in the home of Impact, what used to be the home. That's a shame that you're not recording here this year, because it would have been nice to come to have seen you. But you are going to be at the ballroom, the Melrose Ballroom. Are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it very much, even though I did have an unfortunate accident there at one point in time. It wasn't in an Impact show, but it was there at the Melrose Ballroom. Got knocked out, smashed my face on the guardrail, maybe chipped a couple teeth, who knows. But, I'm always looking forward to come to New York City, as that's one of the hotbeds of professional wrestling, and Melrose Ballroom has definitely claimed its stake in the industry today, as it's been the home of Bound for Glory, for Impact, and my gosh, I'm telling you, the crowd there gets hype. So,
well, I've got to say, whenever they do the shows from the Melrose, it always looks fantastic on TV, and I can't wait to see what happens. And I'd just like to first of all congratulate you, because since you've been in Impact, I've got to say, certainly in this year, it's been an absolute fantastic run that you've been on, with regards to the whole Overi storyline, which I've got to say started off slowly and a bit out of nowhere for me, but turned into something quite fantastic. Now, did you have any input in that, or when they pitched it to you, did you think, no, this is not going to work, or were you on board from the beginning?
No, I was on board from the beginning, and I had a lot of input in it, as me and Sami Callihan have a very long road history. We know each other very well, and we've been in each other's lives, you know what I'm saying, like through those points that we brought up. So we definitely had that big input in between that, and it definitely came off. In my opinion, I think it came off great, and I think, it came off good for the fans. To have something like that, something so real and so personal. And we, at Rebellion, got down and dirty and freaking stapled each other, used Legos on each other, threw powder on each other, jumped off the stage. He power drivered me off the top. Like, we just went balls to the wall, for the lack of a better term, you know what I'm saying? And that's what Impact's all about. Like, just us going out there and just killing it to the best of our abilities. And, that's why I'm in Impact,
Absolutely, and you know what? It shows every time you're in the ring. I'm always, look, Rich, I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm always pleasant to our guests on here, but I often come out with these statements saying, I love your work, but genuinely, every time I interview someone, I always tell the truth. And your in-ring work has been absolutely stellar. That match with Michael Elgin, which we're going to come on to in a minute, a couple of weeks ago, was fantastic. But going back to the promo stuff with you and Sami, it did get personal, as you quite rightly said, but did either of you say anything that you think actually that wasn't scripted, or I went over the line, or just tell us how real it got, and were there any mistakes in the program?
nothing that we said was scripted. Nothing that we said was untrue. Everything in that, that we brought up, that it really happened. It was real life. You know what I'm saying? And we brought that to light for the art of professional wrestling. And people need to know, you go through trials and tribulations, especially when you're in this business, and you have to make a choice. And me and him, we've had to make those choices together, and we were together. And then to have us on the opposite side, on the end, of the spectrum in Impact Wrestling, why not use that, And I feel like it made, for an interesting story, and it made, the fans really pay attention, you know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, it started off a little slow, but as we kept on peeling back the layers, it started getting interesting and intriguing. And I'm not going to say it was the final chapter for Rebellion, but that chapter, the end of that chapter was ridiculous,
I mean, it was an amazing program, and the one that you're in at the moment, equally so. The quality of the wrestling, absolutely. But I mean, do you think that it is the end of the chapter for the time being, or can you see yourself after the Elgin kind of program that you're in going back and doing something with OVE again, or do you feel like you're done with that for now?
I feel like for now I'm finished with OVE. But I'm never done with OVE. And Sami Callihan in particular, because Sami Callihan, he's a guy that likes to sit back and dwell on his misfortunes, a guy who likes to sit back and let things fester in his mind, if you get what I'm saying. Like, when you stab somebody with barbed wire, or when you poke somebody and staple gun somebody in the neck and in the face and in the tongue, that's things that you don't ever, ever, ever forget. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I know I'll never let go. Whenever I see Sami Callihan in the Impact locker room, I think about getting stapled in my tongue and think about, man, I want to punch you in your face right now. But, I'm finished with that for the time being. But it's always... it could always get rehashed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it will be something next time that people will scratch their heads over, and I think that the fans will absolutely welcome it, because it was such a grower of a feud. And talking of which, we move on to Michael Elgin now, and you've just been talking about the creative freedom that you had with the last lot, and that match the other week. People certainly, on our review podcast, and when we did that review, that they were talking about that being one of the match of the year contenders. I mean, did you know when you were in that match how good it was going? Did you feel it?
I could, man. Let me tell you something. I've grown up in that ECW arena, started at Combat Zone Wrestling, and I've always felt it. When somebody is just having this stellar match, having this crazy match, when the crowd is just in a frenzy and just, they can't be quiet because they're in that much excitement. And to be in the ECW arena and have that match with Michael Elgin, and then to have people review it as a possible match of the year candidate, it's crazy because, like I said, Michael Elgin, he has, one of the highest wrestling IQs in this industry. And then, me being my size, my stature, and to go out there and put on one hell of a performance of mixed art, I'd feel there was some high flying in that match. There was some strong style. There was wrestling, it was everything that you would want. There was entertainment, and to have that match with Michael, I was just, in awe to feel that reaction, from the crowd in that arena, and people know that arena can turn on you in a second. That arena can turn on you in a second, and to have those people in the palm of our hands, Like, that's what you want in this industry.
I mean, as you said, the art of wrestling, that's what you called earlier on, an art. And that match, as you said, had pretty much everything. It was high flying, it was strong arm, whatever you want to call it. It was great. However, the one criticism I think a lot of people had, and I'm sure this is beyond your control, but did you and Michael go back and forth on that ending? Because I think that's the one thing that might kind of take it from that match of the year. Were you disappointed that was the kind of ending that happened to such an amazing match?
You know, just seeing where Michael Elgin has come, you know, and seeing, if you put it to this way, you know what I'm saying, the referee, he said, hey, bring him back into the ring. Referee's discretion, bring him back. Just as if Michael was beating me in the corner and you got a 5 count, you know what I'm saying? And the referee, if he didn't adhere to that 5 count, if I was in the corner and he was pounding on me, he could do the same thing. Now, if you look at it as we had a 10 count on the outside, Michael obviously didn't care about winning at that point because the X-Division Championship isn't on the line, and he's just got one focus, and that's Brian Cage. And he's been claiming a stake that he's going to put everyone in the hospital. What better way to put me in the hospital than repeatedly power bombing me over and over and over into the posts? But the referee, he sees that, oh, he's not trying to win anymore. He's trying to hurt this man. In professional wrestling, we're in the ring for a competition, not to hurt each other, right? So, you know, that was the thing of that finish. And I could understand how, you know, people would say, oh, that takes it from being a match of the year candidate. But, you know, there's going to be more matches to come. The year ain't ended. It ain't finished yet, you know.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and hopefully we'll see a rematch of that somewhere down the line. Hopefully, maybe even on a pay-per-view, so we get some good time on it as well. But just you mentioned the X Division wasn't on the line. Obviously, you're the current champion. Do you think you're getting to the stage now where you don't need the belt? Because a lot of your storylines haven't really revolved around the belt. They've been kind of incidental to the belt. So do you think that, you know, you happy to compete in that division, or do you want to move on to show that you can hang with the big guys and maybe go for the world title?
Well, you know, the X-Division Championship, it's almost like the Intercontinental Championship or the Never Openweight Championship or the Television Championship. You don't have to be a certain weight limit, you know, to, you know, contend for it, hence Brian Cage being the champion. I feel like, you know, right now, being the X-Division champion, I want to try to carry that X-Division legacy as long as I can. You know, some of the greats have AJ, Sabin, Christopher Daniels, like Joe. I don't even need to, you know, bring the list because everybody knows. But you know, if the time comes, you know, that, you know, I'm out of the X Division Championship title picture, then if I earned a World Championship title shot, I definitely would like to show the world that I can be looked in the light as a world heavyweight champion, and I can carry the company all the way to the top, you know what I'm saying? And I have that ability, and if I had the opportunity to show it, I feel like no one would be disappointed.
Absolutely not. All right, well, you know, that's the current program. I just got a few more questions because I've taken up enough of your time already. We always only have a limited time with this. Thankfully, the guys at Impact did say we could have an extra 5 minutes because we had a few technical problems at the end. So I've just got a few more questions for you. But the first one is, my wife works from home, and every now and again I have to work from home, and I hate working with my wife. How is it for you? Was that something that encouraged you to join Impact, or was it something that actually made you maybe think twice about it? And you've got to answer right with this one, otherwise you'll be in trouble.
Well, you know, actually, no, man. Like, I like it. Like, You know, there's no problems. Like, we get to travel the world. We get to see things that, you know what I'm saying, other people wouldn't be able to see in a married relationship together. And then we share the same love and passion for this sport, and we're in the same company. You know what I'm saying? Like, what more could you ask for? And I enjoy it, especially because, you know, right now we're not even involved in any storylines together in Impact. But then to see people have that in their mind, thinking, oh, could one of them switch? Could, you know, they get together? Like, that's always fun. Seeing people's fantasies of us, you know what I'm saying, maybe coming together on screen as well. So, but you never know. But to get back to it, though, you know, I enjoy it. I don't have a problem with it.
Excellent. All right, well, I've got two more questions for you. Well, as far as I know, unless you say something and I want to do a follow-up, and I did pre-warn you I was going to ask these tonight, and it could very well be that wife question I just asked, but you've been doing a lot of interviews today. I think you said you've done 3 already. You might have some more lined up. What's the worst question you've ever been asked in an interview? I always ask this of all my guys and girls who I interview, so what's the worst, stupidest question you've ever been asked?
How did you get into professional wrestling? And I say that because there are 150 interviews of that same question. Not just for me, but for anybody that steps on a podcast or an interview or anything like that. You know, Wikipedia is a thing. Google is a thing. You know, let's ask, you know, everybody in the industry some questions that would be tough and maybe, you know what I'm saying, like people wouldn't be easily accessible to and be able to find out on their own, you know? That's one. And I'm not going to say it's a stupid question, but it's just overdone, you know?
And the final thing I want to ask, unless you've got another one you wanted to mention as well, was that we've been doing this thing on the show, which is like a pay it forward, which is we do these interviews with the Impact stars quite a lot, and we always ask the wrestlers to come on and ask a question to the next guest, and we don't know who that's going to be yet, but we're building up a bank of questions to ask. For example, Johnny Impact last time asked one for Tyre, so we've got that one stored away. So who on the roster would you like to ask a question, and what question will that be? And I'll make sure that I will ask it to them.
I've got one for Desmond Xavier.
Oh, wow, okay.
Desmond Xavier, and it would be, after you do a back handspring, how many backflips can you do in a row?
And can you do more? Is that the challenge?
Oh, I don't know. I just want to know how many he could do, and then, you know, whatever he says, I'm going to try. And do one more over. And we are going to have a contest. We're going to have a contest.
Well, there you go. We've had bra and panties matches. We've had dance-offs, and now we're going to have back flip-offs. There you go. That'll be a match for the ages. Russo is back in the building.
Back, baby. No, we'd be doing backflips, and the loser would get thrown or have to do a backflip off the top rope into a piranha pool. And stuff like that. If Vince, excuse my language, if Vince Russo was running, but I love Vince Russo. I don't care what nobody says. I love Vince Russo. I love Jim Cornette. I love all those guys. Red Roger, they're awesome.
Take my money now if that's an actual match over a piranha pool. I'd buy that for $1. Anyway, Rich, it's been awesome having you on tonight. I've overran my time. It's not very often I overran because I'm usually quite polite on these things, but it's been awesome having you on. So you take care. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and hope the interviews don't get too samey for you. All right, you take care.
Oh, no. Hey, you too, man. You have a good one.
That's all.